Hunt is presented by the Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights. The CCFR is Canada's gun lobby. Also brought to you by Vortex Canada, the force of optics. Prophet River Firearms, your source for Canada's finest firearms, optics, and accessories. Legal services provided by Loberg Ector, your complex commercial litigation experts.
Hey everybody, welcome to My Best Hunt. I'm your host, Rod Giltaca. Thanks for joining me again. Today on the show, we've got my great friend, Ashley Stuckless from HiBC. How's it going, bud?
It's going good. Thanks a lot for having me on the show. I do like this new format that you're coming up with here with telling our stories. So excited to be here.
Yeah, you were quite complimentary when I told you the idea. Even though it was a crazy idea.
Yeah, but it did make sense. I mean, it's a real nice way to be able to capture the whole story. I know the struggles that go into, the difficulties of capturing a story and what you have to do back in the editing bay because of it. So it's a nice format to just really talk about it. And
we go back a little bit. I went on my first hunt ever, the bear hunt there last spring.
You did? Yeah. I've been trying to get you out ever since, and I keep getting out of office emails. I don't know if that's set just for me or what, but we'll line up again, I'm sure.
Yeah, tell them I'm not here.
I get that feeling.
Yeah, awesome. So just for all the people out there that may not know you, I don't know where they've been, but they may not know you. Why don't you just do a quick little introduction?
Sure. Well, my name's Ashley Stuckless. I started filming my backcountry hunts about 3.5 years ago. Just sort of fell in love with trying to tell those stories. So I've built a little YouTube channel that's, slowly picks up a little bit of steam. I've had a lot of constructive feedback. So it's helped. It's been a journey. And, it's led me to sort of get HiBC onto network TV. It's grown this Facebook group enormously, and it just I've evolved into a member of the community, I'm still a small guy in the community, but I'm getting there.
You're hard charging.
I'm hard charging, for sure.
Awesome. So you got an Instagram too?
I do, yeah. HiBC Hunting on Instagram. I'm pretty active on there too, just because it's a nice way to show little bites of what's happening in our world. So,
I just remembered on the way here, I was like, oh, I'm gonna pull this out when we're recording. But we went on that bear hunt. You had your buddy Kevin Bustard with you.
Yes.
And he left his coffee mug in my truck. I was doing an investigation to find out whose it was.
Right.
And then I was going to say to myself, hey, or say to you when you came out, hey, Ashley, I got Bustard's mug. Maybe give it back to him. And I thought, what a great band name that would be. Bustard's Mug.
Bustard's Mug. It's funny. And even, to go along with that, his jeans and his field cook kit are at my house in the garage. So he kind of a yard sale in his way through. It kind of fits his MO a little bit.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
he's a good hunter. That's one thing for sure.
He absolutely. Yeah. The man's a killer for sure.
All right. So we're going to start talking about your hunt. So tell us about what species you were after and whereabouts you were looking.
Okay, it was stone sheep, and anyone who's stone sheep and some that aspire to know sort of the pedestal that stone sheep's on. So and it involves a big journey. We were hunting, 60 to 80 kilometers from the Yukon border, float planed in. So super remote, the plane leaves and it's you and the breeze and a couple birds chirping kind of thing. So. Yeah, so once the plane's gone, we just get to work right away. We got delayed because there was a lot of smoke in our flight in. So it was about 7:00 at night or 6:30 at night. Now the days are long up there in sheep country, but we wanted to hustle our stuff together. We had about 18 kilometers to get into where our first base camp was.
What's the smoke from?
Well, there's a lot of forest fires around. There was, basically.
What time of year? Sorry.
So this is in August,
Oh, okay.
and so we're still. It's getting worse and worse every year. That August and early season hunts like this are starting to. You really have to put some planning in from a forest fire perspective. Fortunately, based on the smoke forecast and that, this looked like it was going to be reasonably well. It's just there was a forest fire between our drop-off location and takeoff. So we get there, we're really hustling. You get that. It's kind of this boyhood type of excitement that you sort of get because you're there, the whole world's your oyster kind of thing. And you're just, you're just constantly mentally checking, do I have everything? We make a lake stash. Did I, it's important not to forget something in the lake stash. We get it all set up. That takes about a half an hour, and then it's time to hike. And the first 3 kilometers out of this lake, it just lets you know who's boss, because that we had to climb all the elevation at that point to get into the adjacent valley. So we did that. So right away, it sort of sets the tone. Okay, this is actually going to be a little hard. And then, here comes the thunderstorms. Like we're at other than a bit of residual smoke, we had a pretty bluebird landing into this lake. We get 3 kilometers in, and now here come the thunder, the rollers, and the hail. So, then you're thinking, okay, do we do the smart thing and sort of set up a camp? No, we just keep going. We want to try, even if we're headlamping for the last portion of it, to make it to base camp. So, which ended up being a little too much of an ask. We there was 6 really main drainage river crossings and a couple other medium-sized ones, and they're like mid-thigh high. And but to us, it's like we put the Crocs on and boots over the shoulders, and you got this pack on, and you're like, it's just always going this mantra in your head that this is just what it takes. Like you just can't do this unless you do these things. And so Jesse, my buddy that was hunting with me, is a pretty high-spirited guy. He's quite like if it's getting really, really tough, he'll be quiet but always positive. He seems to have a positive expression even when it sucks sometimes. And I show my feelings a little bit more, but we're fairly equally tough, and you got to have that in the hunting partner. So, I think we got about 10 kilometers of that hike done, and had made it past the main drainage crossings we had to do, and then we ended up setting up a spike camp short, and then getting up the next morning. We were about another 6 kilometers, and we woke up fresh, and we felt like, oh wow, we're deep in the sheep country. And then within about 20 minutes, we had seen a few sheep, looked like young rams, and we've seen a few ewes, and we're like, okay, well, we're here now, and we're doing it. We hadn't been to this spot before at this point. So we grind all the way in there. And then I remember once we set up our actual main mini base camp, when you get that weight off and you're just like, okay, now we're actually going to start hunting. Now we can get lighter, we're just going with our optics and our rifles and stuff. But basically we're in such a good position from our base camp that we could just, really hit the glass hard. So, we spent hours and hours on the glass, and on the way in, one of the smaller rams that we had seen, Jesse had taken some Olin scope footage through his spotter, and we're like, it's the end of that first day of glassing. We're like, we should have a good look at that. Just to check them out. And when we did, we realized, that was a bit of a bigger ram. So we hustled our gear up, and we actually hiked that night, got up and set up under our sill tarp and slept way up on top of the mountain. And then we hiked down about 200 or 300 meters, and we seen the 2 rams bedded. We took our time. We aged these animals. He had a pretty unique growth. He was very heavy mass, but weren't sure if he was full curl. And we took our time and set up for the shot. And then I just drifted it about 3 feet high because I had my turret set wrong. So
big miss, epic miss.
Epic fail. Yeah, really tough, really tough.
So that's not the end, though.
No, that's not the end. That's not the end. For the end, we got to get into this year's adventure.
Redemption hunt.
The redemption hunt. So, that is by far the worst experience of a miss I've ever felt. And as a sheep hunter, when you're with someone who's, walked the 80 or 100 kilometers to sort of get this opportunity, you feel really guilty. You're really hurt for yourself, but you hurt for your hunting buddy too, to throw that away. All the rain and all the training before the hunt. And just to drop the ball, and it really hurts. And to film it all, and to sort of have that,
it's good and it's bad.
It's good and it's bad. It's good because I think it's an important story to tell, and it's an important part of this year's story, because being that low with a miss, having a miss that you then have to carry for 366 days before you can even get back for your second another opportunity was my cross to bear. Like I had to drag that thing all the way, and I thought about it every day. I don't think there was a single day that I didn't have this beady-eyed determination to get myself back in there and do the same thing. And I had people saying, "Oh, maybe you should go to another spot that's easier to get into." And hey, there's lots of sheep there.
That's not insulting.
No, well, they did it out of the kindness of their heart, right? Yeah. They're like, "Okay, you put in a lot of effort. Yeah. Here's a token, little bit of information. I want to help you out," kind of thing, which is super. I'm super appreciative of that. But it's tough. But until the wheels start rolling north again, which of course, same plan, same plane, same lake, and pretty much the same sort of hunt plan, because we felt our hunt plan was pretty good.
You got a shot at them.
I did.
So
basically, it came down to me. It came down to that turret area. So same lake, same crossings, except we added a couple bonus crossings because we crossed once where we shouldn't have, and so we got a 8 full mainstream crossings, and the water was higher. It was actually a little more, a little nastier that way, and
same time of year.
Exact same time of year.
Okay.
So we're getting in there for the beginning of season. So it's on, and we come in. We're almost at the main camp spot. We were setting up in the same area, and we spot 2 rams. They were young, and we're like, okay, the magic's still here. Like, we're like, this place is special, even though I left with my tail between my leg, and Jesse was shaking his head, I guess. So we get there, and we're like, okay, we've only got enough time to do a little glassing. We just set up camp. It's opener the next day. So we're like, let's have a look around and see if we can find anything. There's thunderstorms rolling through, and there was about 4 kilometers away, there was a patch of snow that Jesse just happened to be looking at. And you hear those words, sheep. And we don't play with that word. If it's said, it's a real deal. And so then, of course, we're pulling out the big glass and we're trying to have a look, and we're like, okay, it looks like 5 sheep in there. They look it's 4 kilometers away, so you're kind of judging on stature and sort of mass that you can see. And then we end up getting re-tented to dodge out one of the thunderstorms that it came through. It took about half an hour later, we're back out again, and we couldn't really locate those 5 sheep we had seen. But Jesse's sort of picking through the haystack there, trying to find them in the same area. And he's like, whoa, wait a second. I got sheep. They're different sheep. He said they were only about 500 yards away from where he had spotted the other ones. And he looks over at me and he goes, you got to look at this sheep. And there's one that's curled, a white one that's really curled way out, way past the nose. But he said, there's one I want you to look at. And I went and looked, and I was like, dang, that's Chip. And that was the nickname we gave the sheep I missed the year before. He had some really distinct features on his face. And then both of our eyes were like saucers, thinking, tomorrow we're going to go in and see if we can get close and really verify that. So, we watched till the next thunderstorm came through. It was about 9:30 at night. We're back in the tent, still lightish out. And, we hit the hay, and all night I'm tossing and turning. It's going through my head over and over, that miss from last year, anticipating that I'm going to get another opportunity. And so we got up 4:30 in the morning, and we hiked the 4 kilometers. Well, we hiked 4.2 kilometers, and then we were basically belly crawling till we closed the distance. And they weren't giving us a shot right away. They were bedded, and then they decided to stand for whatever reason, and we were able to do a countdown and pull off the double. But it wasn't quite a double. I got Chip, but Jesse ended up missing his. So, I felt a little bit hesitant to sort of have a big celebration because Jesse had missed his ram. And but as fate had it, those rams exited out of the cliff complex they were in, and were heading straight for us. At times on a sort of a dead run. So Jesse got to get a follow-up shot at about 360 yards, and I was just scrambling around with my telephoto to get on it. And I'd seen some shorter horn rams that I knew weren't it, and then I heard the gunshot. And I heard the feedback, and it sounded good. So I whipped the camera over and just got him for the second shot where he had finished him off. And, the relief of the whole thing after the year before, and then having Jesse right under that pressure cooker of having a fresh miss, and then the release of sort of pulling off the double together after what we had been through was crazy high. Like we were just on top of the world, super appreciative, and really our eyes were like, it's going to be tough getting out of here, but with 2, with 1 each. So
that's a big pack out.
Yeah, it was big. From where we got the sheep, it was 24 kilometers. So wow. I was 130 pounds and Jess was about 120 for pack weight. So it's the real deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, after coming out empty-handed, Jesse misses his.
Yeah.
A lot of work, but that's quite a story of redemption for sure.
It kind of makes this. Yeah. It kind of makes the the whole thing's magic, regardless. Yeah. But just to really ratchet up that tension in the magic. Forget filming. Just as an experience it's priceless.
Yeah, it's not the same when it's easy.
No, it isn't the same. Things that are valuable are worth working for.
Well, that was an awesome story, man.
Thanks.
Awesome. So anyway, in case anyone doesn't know, where can they find you?
Well, like I said before, the HiBC YouTube channel, I think that's where we get the most feedback. We're also on Instagram at HiBC Hunting. We got a Facebook group with 9,000 people. It's a real friendly place. We promote a lot of family hunting and youth hunting, have some contests. So that's a good place to find and interact with us. And of course, on network TV, we've just signed up for our second season. So super excited about that. Been doing a lot of work in the dungeon on that. Yeah.
So HiBC.
HiBC.
Awesome, Ashley. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Rod. Appreciate being here.
If you'd like to be a guest on My Best Hunt, email us a link to your video at show@mybesthunt.ca.